This is The Exodus of Israel by Anna and Brandon Butcher. This is a 2 to 4 player game. Really for anybody who is just learning to read all the way up through adult. And this game takes about 30 minutes to play, if not a little bit more. It's a roll and move kind of game, but it's got a lot of nice little twists in it, and it takes people through the history of the Exodus of Israel. Let's have a look inside. Helping me out describing this game will be my daughter Anna, who actually came up with the idea of the game and helped me make it. So what we have here is a bunch of squares that shows the path of the Israelites as they left Egypt, going all the way over to the Promised Land. And there's a number of squares that indicate each step on their journey all the way to the end. So the goal is to get from one side to the other as easy as possible. This is a setup for a 2-player game. So Anna, what color do you want to be?
Green.
Green, okay, and I'll be black. Point to the green one. Okay, so we start off in the starting square, and basically what happens is each square has something on it, potentially, and then it also has an arrow that shows where people are supposed to go. So as we go through the game, you're going to be following the arrows through each square based on what the die rolls. Now, Anna, can you show everybody what the dice look like? As you can see, they're not your normal dice. They have different markings on them to indicate the different paths that you can take if you remember any part of the story of Exodus, and if not, you can learn it. So the different sides of the die represent different things. This, for example, is an altar, and that represents something in the game. This is a coin from that era. This is a snake, and then here are the important movement ones. This is a cloud. And then this is fire. So during the game, based on what you roll, what comes up can dictate what happens in the game. So, for example, if I were to roll 2 clouds, that means I get to move 2 spaces in the game. If I roll a cloud and a fire, I can go 4 places in the game. But there are other spots that make me not move at all, but I can have different actions show up. For example, if I have 2 snakes, that means something bad happened on my turn, and I would lose a point. But if I got 2 coins, that means something good happened on my turn, and I'd gain a point. Also, there are these altar pieces that we talked about, and whenever you're in the game and you gain an altar, Anna, show me what the altars look like. Yes, those trapezoid-shaped things. What happens in the game there is you get an altar, and then during the game, if you land on a spot that you want to use the altar, for example, if it's got a coin on it because something good happened there, on your turn you can decide, hey, I'm going to use this altar. You put it down, you discard it, and you can double the point value of that square. But also, if you get a roll that's in between, like this, you can go 1 space, but then if you get this, nothing happens, and it symbolizes you wandering around for another turn in the wilderness. Just to give you an idea of how the game is played, we're just going to play it. And you see from the starting square, everybody gets 4 coins for being on the starting square because that shows the Israelites get to leave Egypt. So Anna wants to go first, so she's going to roll and tell everybody what happens.
On here, I think I move 1 time. 1
space.
So it goes here, and you're supposed to read it. It says about 600,000 men on foot beside the women and children.
So they left Egypt.
And it shows you right here, like where it shows you where it is right here. It shows you where it is right here.
Yeah, every little square has its own little picture. Now it's Daddy's turn. Oh, I got two pillars of fire. So how many do I move, Anna?
2.
That's right, move me 2. So you follow the arrows, and I still end up in Egypt. You don't have to read them if you want. A lot of times if you don't know how to read, you can just watch the squares and see which ones have the coins on them or the snakes on them and move there accordingly. Anna, you get to roll.
I think I move 1.
Yep, you move 1. Now, here she's got a choice. When she gets to this point, if it's moving into a square already occupied by somebody, she can choose to move ahead to the next one, or she can land on this one and bump me to the next one. In that game, this is where you have an element of choice to do. And a lot of times you want to decide to do that if, for example, it's like this, and she wanted to move from here to here, but then she could skip ahead and get the advantage of crossing the Red Sea, because that would give her 3 points and one of these altar cubes up there, which would be a great thing. So she would decide to skip there. But she's not there yet, so what she's just going to do is she's going to jump over to here. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Alright, pick your piece up. Alright, now it's my turn to roll. And see, that's exactly what I did. I got a 1, because I just got the pillar of cloud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip over Anna and go right to the Red Sea, and that makes me go up 3 points.
Just so you know, when it comes up here, it doesn't go back here. It just goes down.
Alright, yep, that's right. So I get an altar out of it, so I can use that later if I want. And then it's Anna's turn. Alright, now she got a nothing, right? You need to have 2 altars or 2 snakes and that kind of thing. So you're just wandering around the desert. That's my turn. Oh, I got nothing as well. I'm wandering. See, the game goes fairly quickly in terms of each person's turn. And then she gets to go 4 spaces. See, but she doesn't get the points from crossing the Red Sea because she didn't land on it. But this space is a bad space, so she goes back 1 if you see the snake there. So this would be the score after the first couple of rolls. Play would then continue all the way around the different aspects of the Exodus as traditionally told in the Bible or any other type of source you've got. But when the first person reaches the end, something else happens. They get a little bit of a bonus for speed. So here's a situation where Anna in the green has come in first and finished first, but the game's not over yet. We still have to apply the points. You get bonus points for finishing first, and then you can actually lose points at this time if you're too far behind. So Anna, why don't you tell everybody how many points you gain for finishing first?
You get 4 points.
4 points. So then move this green up 4 points. Alright. And then who loses points? How do you tell who loses points? The colored areas.
When they're in this area, they lose 0 points, and when they're in the darkest blue area, they only lose 2 points.
Yes, so you start losing more and more points the farther back you are. So if you were to move those back, now all of a sudden Anna is actually in the lead, even though at first black had earned a lot of points. Now, I can still go to finish this whole level and perhaps get more and more points, especially if I have altars left over that I want to use. But if Anna finished the game already and still had an altar there that she didn't use, what happens, Anna?
You don't use that altar anymore.
Right, you don't get any extra points for it. But if we both finish the game at exactly the same points, whoever has the altar that they didn't use, whoever has the most unused altars, then they would win the game. So there it is in a nutshell, the Exodus of Israel. A basic roll and move game, but a couple of little twists that'll keep anybody interested. And it's also a quick game that even children can play, taking you through the historical account of the Exodus of the Israelites.
Hope you like it.